anything you want to say.
You've seen a lot. Well, even just like when you were a kid, the stories with your dad, you know, just growing up in the backwoods in Mississippi with, you know, Uncle Willie and you running through the trees and all that stuff.
I didn't know what well, I didn't know what really no shoes was. I went in the Navy. I went in the Navy when I was 17. I hitchhiked. I went to the recruiting office there in Brookhaven, and he said, Ernie, you'll have to get your dad to sign because you're only 17. I was 17. You couldn't go in before you got 17, but you still had somebody to sign if you wasn't 21 or something like that. He said, I said, Lord, my daddy lives in Columbus, Mississippi, somewhere. Man, I said, I could probably find him. He said, I'll tell you what I'll do. Yeah, I'll sign you up for the Navy. He said, I'll carry you to Columbia, Mississippi, and we'll try to run your daddy down because he got signed. He drove me down to Columbia, Mississippi, and we run daddy down, got daddy.
Wow.
To sign the papers. I hadn't seen him, I didn't know when, you know, and
yeah.
I got a lot of things against my dad for a while, but I've asked God to forgive me for all that. But yeah, he went over and got me, daddy signed the papers. And I come down here to New Orleans, and they took a little examination and filled out some papers. They put me on a train down here in New Orleans, shipped me to Chicago, Illinois. That's Great Lakes, they call it up there. They had a boot camp up there. There was about 9 of us went up there together. We got off of that train, old country boys, and didn't know what cold weather went in like in December too. And it was cold up there. Got off that train, an old pair of thin pants on. Boy, we were walking down through that. We went through a set of gates. Boy, we were looking at all that stuff. We were walking down through there, hi, talking one another. All at once, there was a little chief walked out the door, had hash marks up in here. One of them hash marks been for 4 years being in the service. Man, he had them all the way up to his elbow.
Oh, wow.
She, God damn it. And that's where it started. That was the end of having all the fun. But
man.
Yeah, and then where y'all think y'all at? And we was, I'll quit telling all the stories in a minute.
No, I don't care. Keep going.
We was out there marching one day. I had my old gun. They'd make you march with a rifle, you know.
Even in the Navy?
Huh?
Even in the Navy?
Yes, sir. We called it a piece. They called your gun was your piece. You had to clean that thing too. In the Navy, you march and carry that gun, you know, and all that stuff. They train all military about the same. I don't know where they do it in the Air Force, but I imagine they do.
Probably.
We did in the Navy, but anyway, we were marching down through there, you know, and all at once, even a chief, petty officer was over our. He said, "Come out." We stopped. He kind of cleared his throat and he said, "Hudson, where are you from?" I said, "Mississippi, sir." He said, "Goddamn, you ain't out down there hunting them squirrels. Square that piece of." Then he got hoop, marching on down through there. They talk to you like a dog, boy.
Yeah. So were you in for what, 4 years or longer? Just 4 the 4? Because they still made you do the 4 years back then, right?
Yeah, well, see, the Navy you could go in for, and all the rest of the service you could go in for 2 years. I don't know why, but the Navy had to go in for 4 years.
Yeah. Well, I think now they're all 4 years, right?
It might be. It might be now.
So where'd you go? Like, what did they do with you after you were in Chicago?
I finished boot camp. He shipped me to Pensacola, Florida, down at Sherman Field, a big air base. And I stayed down there a year. And my orders come in for the USS Snowden Story escort out of Newport, Rhode Island.
Huh.
And I went up there and got on that ship, and I rode that ship the rest of the time. And there's a little story yesterday. 4 of us went in the squadron. Crow, you don't never get that stuff. It's really Crow, Hughes, and Peter run together. And I forget I think we was the head shift and run out there in front of all of them, they lined you up.
Yeah.
You'd be out there, but it'd be, that sea'd be so rough, but that thing come up and it'd go down, the bow would go under the water. And that fantail would come out of the water back there and back.
Oh my God.
Yes, they're rolling one side to the other. Yes, that's sparrow legged. They made me a helmet. Yes, didn't watch it at night.
Oh.
One guy had to be a helmet that drove the ship, and they had a petty officer, and they had a old man set up above you, the dude over the ship, and they tell you what courses to take.
Yeah.
But I glad, a lot of guys don't want to go. I'm glad I went to service. It learns you a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
You learned a lot.
I was a gunner's mate, and I was I was mount captain of Mount 41, 40 millimeters. Had twin barrels. It was about that big around, shot a shell about that big around, about that long. And put them in a clip over the time. You're still going to put them in a clip, and if you get them barrels going together, boom. Every once in a while you have a misfire on one of them things, and it could be going. Yeah, and we had to clean them and all, but I think every man ought to go in a service for at least 2 years. If you can't stand 4 years,
just 2. Well, some countries make every male in their country go to the service. Like I think in Sweden they do that. Like you have to go.
You wouldn't have so many people, many of these guys running around here beating people up and robbing banks and stuff.
Exactly. We'll teach them a little discipline. So when you were the helmet at night, were you looking out for anything? Like, were you looking out for?
Well, we was underway going somewhere, we didn't have nobody out looking out. In other words, you had somebody on the bridge. I was up on the top, way up there when I was driving.
Right.
Well, we had guards. You had guards out looking.
Yeah.
You had your sonar on. You could pick up if there's any submarines down below trying to get us something, but. And you, if they'd hauled down, and somehow they could pick them up on radar, the planes coming that way.
So where were you guys headed? Where did you go from Rhode Island?
We run the Caribbean. I never did really go into no war that time.
Was the Korean War? Was that?
Yeah, Korean War. I went right after the Korean War was
winding down.
Was winding down, yeah, and well, I forgot what I was going to say now.
You guys went down to the Caribbean?
Huh?
You went down to the Caribbean?
Yeah, we run mostly down and around Cuba, and Guantanamo Bay and all that down in there.
Yeah.
And San Juan, Puerto Rico and all. And but I never did go really over. We never did really go to fighting war with a ship.
Yeah.
In other words, we stood by a lot of times, but we never did. Which I was glad of it.
Yeah, I would imagine.
But I mean, you learn in the service, Brenda. You learn. They teach you to respect people and how to take orders and how to.
Right.
And you didn't sass nobody. If he was over you, he was overranked, and he tell you go get a piece of gum out there or something. You better go get it.
Yeah.
And but I got along with everybody good. They had a first class gunner's mate. I was seaman. I was unenlisted man. I didn't really get a crow on my arm.
Yeah.
And he was kind of smart. He had a big old black guy. Was first class gunner's mate too, kind of over us, And this guy's name was Swagger, the white guy, and Douglas was the old black guy. Was the black guy. He was big old dude too. Old Swagger, he was jealous of me or something. I'd come in, mind you, every night and we'd go to Liberty, go pull into play. I'd come in drunk, and everything, and the next morning he'd be jumping on my tail. finally old Doug stuck over there. He said, Larry, leave that man alone, man. You just jealous because you can't go out and have as much fun as he is. Leave him alone. You don't need to be jumping on him every time he comes. I was liked down there. I mean, we had a bunch of good old boys and Gunner's Bay dog. But it's a different life.
Oh yeah. So did you?
And they ain't gonna hurt you now. You ain't gonna have your way all the time, and you're gonna get your feelings hurt sometimes. What to say to you, but that teaches you. You're gonna get your feelings hurt out here in this world anyway.
Oh yeah.
And you learn to cope with everything. You know, if you can do that, you can
do anything.
You make it as a military man, but if you can't, they stick your butt down there in the hole. Well, I'll tell you.
So you didn't like it? Is that why you didn't join back up again?
I didn't have enough education
to
go anywhere. Now, I might have would have stayed in if I had a good education before I could have went up rank, you know.
Yeah.
But I knew, that's one thing, see, I was smart enough to know what I could do. That's like me chucking. Ain't no telling how many good jobs I turned down. I could have got, like the safety man, terminal manager, all would like me to try to put me in it, but and I was straight out with them. I said, I can't do it. I don't have that shit.
Yeah.
Old Ballard tried to get me to be the dispatcher over there at Kenner when Madlack first took it over. And I said, no, I'm going to stay driver. I can't handle it.
Well, you could have done it, but you would have you would have only been able to have gotten so far before somebody.
You make it look bad on yourself.
Yeah.
And for some reason, everybody thought I was educated and thought I was a lot smarter. Most people don't get no school and they kind of dumb acting, you know. But I been around so much and everything, they couldn't really tell, you know.
Yeah.
Joy told me out there, he said, "Oh, you never know you ain't got no education."
No, I never know it.
You ought to try that. I said, Joe, I've turned down so many jobs.
Mhm.
I had enough sense to know that I couldn't do it. Why go in there and
why mess up where you already
tell
are?
them, you know what I mean? Then you look bad.
Yeah, because you got to interview with them, and they're gonna find out anyway.
Well, I knew. I had enough sense to know what I could do and what I couldn't do.
Yeah. So I forget, what grade did you go to before you had to quit going to school? You got up to what, 3rd grade or 7th grade or?
No, I don't think I got, and I didn't learn none when I was going to school, because I didn't have nobody to help me with my homework and stuff, you know. I went to Crystal Springs High School. I think it was in the 6th grade.
Yeah.
And back then, we didn't get no education in 6 years.
Yeah.
I just, you know, I just always, when I went in the Navy and got out of the Navy and started trucking.
Yeah.
And done a little mechanic, and I've always been lucky enough to make a halfway decent living, but not nothing real fancy, real high.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind driving a truck or doing certain things, you know.
But you did good, I mean, financially with the trucks for a while, considering, you know.
The only thing, you know, I do wish I went. I'd had somebody, my daddy or somebody. Daddy didn't have no education.
Yeah.
And he didn't have enough sense to make us go to school.
No, and he was a preacher. He was busy
my
preaching.
My mom died when I was a baby.
Yeah.
Carrie, she didn't make us go to school and learn, you know. So I was pretty well on my own. So I just.
Yeah, because you're.
I can't blame no one myself. I just didn't. For some reason, I didn't know it was important. Is what it is.
Well, you were a kid. How would you know? You didn't know that. Because Because Aunt Monty and Aunt, and Grandma, they had already gotten married? But Aunt Monty had gotten married already, right?
All my sisters were married.
Young, when they were, you were young.
Me and Willie I was the last one to get married.
Well, yeah, because you were the baby.
I was the youngest one of the bunch.
Yeah.
Willie's about 4 years older than I am.
Yeah.
He's getting on up there. See, I'm 80.
You-
I'm 75.
Yeah, you'll be 76 in October.
Yeah,
When's his birthday?
I don't even know.
Yeah. So he's 80 this year then.
Yeah, he's getting up pretty close to 80.
Yeah.
And Julia is the oldest one. She was the girl. She was my sister. Well, I never seen her much. She left home down out in the woods when she was young too, and went to Detroit.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever even met her.
No, but she only come home a couple of times.
Yeah, I remember Mom, or you when I was a kid mentioning that you had
And
another
it was
sister,
like,
but
like she wasn't even my sister, so I didn't even know her.
yeah, exactly.
You know.
So it was her and what Aunt Bertie.
Bertie and I was around Bertie a lot. And she married Mick Cupstead, and Molly married Hallie Cupstead.
Yeah.
And Odell married Aubrey Clavin, which was nothing but a hillbilly up in there, didn't they? Live like in a shack. And Lena May, now, she couldn't get along with John, but now John was in the Navy too.
Oh, yeah.
He was a chief in the Navy. He had a little education.
Yeah.
He got out of the Navy because he was going to retire because she got pregnant with Benita Brenda Moore.
Oh, yeah.
And he had to go overseas. If he shipped over, he had to go overseas for so long. Anyway, he didn't do it. But John was a good provider.
Yeah.
He was smart, but later
Couldn't.
wanted him to be some lawyer or something, you know.
Yeah.
She tried to live
She got
above
highfalutin.
her meaning.
Yeah.
And so she finally left John, split up there with her.
How long were they married for? They were married for a while, right?
Well, yeah, they were married about 10 years or so.
It's a long time. Because I remember him from when I was a kid.
And Roy married Olene. Olene was all right, but she was stubborn and everything.
So how many is that right there? What, Julia, Maudie, Bertie, Grandma,
There's
Odell.
5 girls and 3 boys.
So who was the other boy? You?
Boy, my brother
Oh.
got killed on a truck.
Uncle Roy. Yeah, he's the one that had the
Yeah.
bad accident, right?
Yeah, they had cut his head off.
He fell asleep behind the wheel.
I don't know. They don't probably that. He had to go. Had to go to sleep or else he passed out or something.
Yeah, he could have had a heart attack or something too.
He had run. That boy run all over the country. He was in the Navy too. He was on the ship. He shot, got sunk.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I forget what ship he was on. He was in during World War II. I remember he come home and Daddy had a little. Then it was like having a Cadillac. We had a little '39 Ford convertible. Boy, that thing was sharp too. And,
Wow.
Yeah, and Will Roy, he couldn't wait to get in that boy. He drove like, he'd go around him. There again, it was all gravel roads out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
We lived.
Kick it up
I could
and-
hear the rock sitting in fenders up and like,
Oh, that's awesome. So how much older was he than you, Roy?
he was the oldest one.
Oh, he's the oldest.
Roy was the oldest, and Willie was next, and I was the youngest.
Okay.
Julia was the oldest girl, and Lena May was the
Baby.
youngest girl.
Yeah. That's funny.
There was Odell and Bertie and I can't even think of them all now.
Maudie.
Marty, yeah.
Yeah. So if he fought, so your brother Roy fought during World War II?
Mm-hmm.
So he had to have been a good, at least, 15, well, because you were born in, 37?
37.
And the war was, 39 to 45. So
Yeah, he was
he was a good amount older than
How
you.
old Roy would be now. He was like Howard. See, Howard was in World War II.
Yeah.
Roy'd be old if he.
Yeah, well, because Uncle Hallie was old when he
Yeah, he
died.
was 80 years old when he died, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
He was in World War II,
Yeah.
too, in the Army. And he had a brother that got killed over at Wibbly and got killed over on.
Yeah. Because I remember there was a day where we were at Aunt Maudie and Uncle Holly's, it's you, me, and Mom. We were there, and I think Uncle Ronnie was there. Maybe, but Uncle Holly started talking about the war. And I remember, you know, everybody kind of being surprised that he brought it up, that he was talking about it. Because he didn't, I guess he didn't really talk about
He
it
didn't
much.
really talk about it.
Well, he saw some stuff, and your brother
Oh, he
saw
seen
some stuff too.
Yeah, Wibbly and see Wibbly and his brother got killed. I don't remember where he was in the Navy or the Army.
Yeah, I feel like.
But I think he was in the Army like Hallie was. Hallie was in the Army.
Yeah.
Hallie said he'd been down in them holes hiding where he wouldn't get killed. The hands would freeze, so the feet would freeze so bad you couldn't pull your shoes off because you couldn't get them back on or you couldn't feel them.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a little rough time, them boys, in the service of World War II.
Oh yeah, they saw horrible stuff.
You're lucky if you come back if you went to that war.
Yeah. And he's
Lots of them didn't come back.
Mm-mm. No. That's definitely not. Yeah, you were lucky then that you didn't get to go. You didn't go over for the Korean War.
I just, when I went in the Korean War, that was a pretty good war. There was a lot of stuff going on there, but it was all winding down when I went in.
Yeah.
I went in 54, right at the end of 54, December the 17th, 54.
Wow.
Yeah. I got out of all the fighting and stuff, you know.
Yeah, well, the Navy was smart too, because, you know, they sent the Army in first, I'm sure.
Yeah, the Marines went first.
Oh, yeah, the Marines first.
And then then the Army come in behind them on the ground, and they had the Air Force for the plane
Yeah.
bombing and all that stuff. The Marines, they put the Marines in there first. They done all the dirty work.
I would not want to be
The
a Marine.
Army was bad enough. I wouldn't want to be in the Marines back then during World War II.
No, I wouldn't want to be sent to sleep in a foxhole, you know?
Yeah, man, and you had to dig it yourself. And it wasn't soft ground, and you had a small shovel too. I said you'd be surprised what you how fast you dig a hole with them big shells dropping all around. Machine
Yeah.
gun going
If something's going to motivate you, it would be that,
Yes.
you know?
You didn't want to stick your head out around nothing. At least in the Navy, I was smart. I went in the Navy. You had 3 meals a day on the ship. They fed us good on the ship. We had a clean bunk to sleep in.
Yeah.
We didn't have to sleep in no foxholes.
Yeah, you had a home, you had food.
I'll admit, you was out there in the middle of nowhere. Now, the ship get sunk, you had slim chance to make it. But they didn't sink that many of our ships.
Yeah. No, not in the Korean War.
And a lot of them, I don't know how they done it, they got off of them too when they
Yeah.
sunk them.